So I went in thinking that I only had 3 fibroids. Turns out I had 11. So I went in thinking that I only had 3 fibroids. Turns out I had 11. On top of that, endometriosis was found practically everywhere down there, including my appendix, which had to be removed. So, yeah, a 2-hour surgery turned into a 5-hour surgery, leaving me with 5 incisions. Instead of bandages, they used some type of glue that will eventually dissolve. The first night was easy peasy because I was already drugged up and everything. The next day and after, though, is when I really started to feel it. It was uncomfortable to be in the bed, so I was in our spare bedroom practically every day, chilling with my man. We even ended up sleeping in the living room just because I felt more comfortable in it versus the bed, and I felt bad waking him up in the middle of the night to help me go to the bathroom because it was so hard to get out of the bed. Luckily, he was able to work from home while I recovered. He took care of me. He helped me to the bathroom, made sure I ate, helped me shower, made sure I was on my medication every 4 hours. He is the best, and I love him so much. Within a couple days, I felt more comfortable walking around, so I made sure I walked a bit around the house just to get my body moving, and still needing a little help here and there. I felt a little more comfortable doing more things around the house. I am going to post my full story on my YouTube channel, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Today was a big day. I had surgery to remove my fibroids. I had to wake up at 4:30. Per pre-op instructions, I couldn't eat anything after pretty much midnight since I was going under anesthesia. I also could not add any lotion or moisturizer after getting out of the shower, but I did add a little light serum to my face and also decided to put some chapstick on just to stay hydrated. Admission process was pretty quick and easy. I got there by 6 o'clock, and then I pretty much was headed to the operating room by 7:30. Today was a big day. I had a 18 centimeter fibroid and a healthy baby. Let's talk.
Hi guys, yes, I'm alive. But this is just a quick summary of what happened. Basically, I got diagnosed with fibroids. I know what it's apt that I had surgery this month because July is fibroids awareness month. And I found out I had fibroids in January of last year. After I'd lost the weight, my periods were still heavy, which I have always been open about. And my GP, thank God for him, was like, Deborah, heavy periods are not normal. Look at me. They are not normal. You are at a perfect weight. You are eating healthy. This must be caused by something, and we have to figure out why. So I'm talking to you. If you have heavy periods or your periods are painful, they're not meant to be. Find out why. So he sent me to various tests back to back to find out what the cause was. And one day I went to my OBGYN, my what's the word, gynecologist, and they were meant to do a pelvic ultrasound, but I happened to be on that day. So she told me to take off my underwear. And I was like, I'm on my period. She was like, oh, it's going to take 2 minutes to take off my underwear. And mind you, I was in day 4. She was like, what day of the cycle are you in? And I was like, I was day 4. She was like, oh, fantastic. When I tell you the moment I took off my underwear, I know this is TMI, almost like somebody turned on a tap. Normally, I'm not that heavy, but God must have been like, I need you to understand how bad my situation is. And he must have turned on my period tap because I was bleeding at a tap. And the moment I took it off, it just started to the point that she looked away for 30 seconds. And by the time she looked back, she went, oh my gosh, oh, because the entire place was covered in blood. So she was like, quickly sit on the chair. You're like, sit down, let me just quickly check. So she was checking, and when I tell you that I was bleeding so much to the point that the chair that I was sitting on was covered in blood. Anyway, she basically was like, this is urgent. I'm going to mark you as urgent because you have 2 fibroids and one was close to my cervix and it was pressing down. And mind you, this is January 2024. It was pressing down on my, I don't know, it was pressing down on something that was making me bleed heavy and have really bad menstrual cramps. And because of that, it classified as urgent and told me, do not get pregnant. Now, fibroids are something that happens to every woman. There's like 5 in 6 women will have fibroids, and it's higher if you're black. So bear that in mind. Basically, if you're black, most likely you have fibroids, and they don't give symptoms unless they're pressing on something. So a lot of times, women will have fibroids and do not know it until they get pregnant or they're struggling to conceive. Now, the misconception with fibroids is that it causes people to be infertile. Yes and no. Some fibroids are very close to the cervix or very close to something that might affect fertility, but the moment you take them out, you go back to normal, if that makes sense. So that misconception has to go. And I speak from experience because my sister had fibroids and she had the.
There you have it. Not just one box, but 2 box. 1 box, 2 box, 3 box, 4. They're trying to make this something regular that we should accept. Well, you should accept that you're not supposed to whole phase your 20s. You have a real wall. It ain't your looks.
My sister had fibroids and she had them removed in 2017, years before she had kids. Now she has kids, she's fine. So let's remove that stupid misconception of when you have fibroids that you cannot get pregnant, because that is very.
It's not stupid and it's not a misconception. Do you wish you had them? Would I have a better chance with somebody who doesn't have them and didn't and won't have them, or didn't have them yet?
It's damaging. But since it's Fibroids Awareness Month, I said let me just share my story in a very short way to let you guys know what happened. But basically, I got a call. Mind you, I've been in the waiting list since January, and I was classified as urgent. But there must have
been on the waiting list since January, classified as urgent. You knew your box was bad. You knew you was on the waiting list. You know what it was. Listen, brothers, they could try to jazz it up all they want.
Because they told me it would take 8 months. So I basically postponed my wedding last year.
I postponed my wedding. Hey, HD Live. Behind every bad box is what?
There must have been a backlog because they told me it would take 8 months. So I basically postponed my wedding last year because I was like, I don't want to have surgery close to my wedding. And
I postponed my wedding. No, yeah, I got married to the man with the bad box. No, I knew I had him. I was on the rest. I was on the list because I didn't want to have my surgery around my wedding or anything like that. Why? My box ain't right. I want to be able to at least fuck him with this bad box. I know having a baby is gonna be something else, but I at least want to be able to fuck him with this bad box. Will you have discomfort? Yeah, but I'll grind through it.
Basically postponed my wedding last year because I was like, I don't want to have surgery close to my wedding. And I waited and I waited, did not get a call. I decided to stop waiting and plan my wedding for July, right? My wedding was July 5th. July 2nd, I get a call to be like, your surgery has been scheduled for July 4th. I was like, that is 2 days from now. Like, and my wedding is on July 5th. So no. Okay, I've been waiting for you long enough. So they pushed it to the week after. So
now this video is 1 day ago, so this was all this year. Poor dude.
You long enough. So they pushed it to the week after. So literally, I got married, and then a week later, I had to have my fibroids removed.
I got married, did him for the honeymoon. A week later, that man's in the operating room with me. Tried to tell you niggas, man. That man needs somebody to talk to.
And so literally I got married, and then a week later I had to have my fibroids removed, which again I had to postpone my honeymoon, but I was just glad to.
Oh, she postponed the honeymoon. Oh shit. Oh, yo, HD Live, man. See, I wasn't going to even drop the link, but HD Live. Would you ever in your life get married and have to have your honeymoon postponed because your wife's box is bad? HD Live.
Which so literally I got married, and then a week later I had to have my fibroids removed, which again I had to postpone my honeymoon, but I was just glad to be honest, get it removed because again they warned me, do not get pregnant because it's so close to the cervix. It's not.
They warned me, do not get pregnant. Who did she warn? The husband. So think about it, HD Live. That man probably had to wrap it up with his own wife. Wow. Wow. Hold on. Where's the sound effects at? Hold the fuck up. Oh my goodness.
I was just glad to be honest, get it removed because again they warned me, do not get pregnant because it's so close to the cervix. It's gonna impact.
That's crazy. And this is everything I try to teach in the class. We will all say, hey, this woman looks good, right? But look at what the inside of her body gave to her husband for his honeymoon. Fuck her honeymoon. The wedding was hers. The honeymoon is his.
Which again I had to postpone my honeymoon, but I was just glad to be honest.
He should have postponed that damn wedding.
Postpone my honeymoon, but I was just glad to be honest, get it removed because again they warned me, do not get pregnant because it's so close to the cervix. It's gonna impact delivery. It's gonna impact the baby. So they were like, do not get pregnant.
Impact the delivery, impact the baby. What I teach you. These babies are impacted. Now, we never want to go there, but I teach you that shit. All right? We never want to go there, but I do teach you that. I teach you the impact on the babies. I teach it.
I have to impact delivery is going to impact the baby. So they were like, do not get pregnant. I had 2 fibroids that they could see, but they were like, obviously, when they opened me up, surprise, surprise, there could be more, but luckily for me, they weren't. So the day of the surgery, they sat me down and they were like, because it's close to the cervix, there is a 1% chance that they might remove my uterus during surgery. Because when the fibroid
1% chance he just got married to her. And there's a chance that she could have her fucking transmission removed. My goodness.
There is a 1% chance that they might remove my uterus during surgery because when the fibroid is close to the cervix, it means that they have to basically dig in deeper, and that can cause bleeding. And they're like, in case of
now, why is that bad? Class, here we go. Here's a lesson. Why is that bad? Is it bad because they got to dig in deeper? Is it bad that they removing? Is it bad because it's close to the uterus? No, it's the scar tissue. The scar tissue that will develop. It has to heal in there. So if they got to do all of this digging and deepening and cutting, that's all of the scar tissue that never supposed to be there. That's going to be there. It's not good. You know, let's see if she says it.
And that can cause bleeding. And they were like, in case of complications, which I've injected right there and then, they might have to remove my womb. And I was like, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. But they had to see.
HD Live, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. What I tell you, I don't got my amen on this one, but what I tell you, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. They use God for the worst. Don't try to use God now. You done fleeced that man. He's married.
And I was like, I rebuke. They might have to remove my womb. And I was like, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. But they had womb. And I was like, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. But they had womb. And I was like, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. But they had to sit me down to tell me because that's one of the risks. Anyway, long story short, I had the surgery. Everything went well. I feel great. I had the surgery a week ago.
Why does she feel great? She feel great because she still believes that she has the opportunity to fleece this guy and get pregnant. Now, what's the bad side? The child cannot be all the way 100%. Do you think she gives a fuck? Hell no. She wants to show that man that she'll go through surgery and high hell to prove to him that he made a right choice. Nah, maybe they might have to go through IVF and all sort of different scientific and technological breakthroughs to conceive something he never thought that he would have to go through when he was growing up. Nevertheless, he or she is willing to beg him for the chance to prove that she can conceive and bring to terms. This is the only channel on YouTube where you're getting the real game. Everything else, unfortunately, they're making money off, and it leads the conversation nowhere. This is the ultimate. And this case study right here is one of my better. I didn't know this. She was gonna say all this shit. This is a new video, and it gives everything that we teach: the guard, the fleece, the bad box, the mistreatment of the man having not to have a honeymoon and honeymoon postponed, everything we teach. And the hyena eyes.
I feel great. I had surgery a week ago. So I've been recovering. It's open surgery, and as you can see, I'm standing.
I guess if I had a question, class, my question would be, how do you think that brother's doing right now? He just got married. He had to have his honeymoon postponed. Then he got to worry about you and hoping that your box becomes right. No, I ain't stopping there. And then when your box get right, you get to use it as an excuse how he don't get to pound you out. And then when he do get to pound you out, it's because you said, oh, I feel good today. He can't just pound you out to pound you out. No. How do you think he feels?
I had surgery a week ago. So I've been recovering. It's open surgery, and as you can see, I'm standing. I had my makeup done and my hair done today.
Got my makeup done and my hair done. I put sugar on top of shit.
As you can see, I'm standing. I had my makeup done and my hair done today. I'm fine. But they tell you to take it easy for 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm just
take it easy for 6 to 8 weeks as a newlywed. Screw her. I'm talking about homie. Should he have the ability to go get some box? Should he get the hall pass? Where on YouTube? Where on YouTube could you get, as I showed earlier, the man taking care of the sister based on bad box, and this man dealing with this story based on bad box? Where else you gonna get this sort of story besides HD Live? Where else? Where else?
take it easy. So do bear with me if I'm not posting as much. But after that, I'm going to go for my honeymoon. So do look forward to that.
I'm going to go for my honeymoon. Now, if she's not talking to my class, that sounds good. But if she's talking to my class, I just broke it down. He can't pound. He got to be worried. And guess when he can pound? When she say, oh, you don't got to be worried today. So that could be up in the air. Come on, y'all. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Plenty content coming. But yes, I'm fine. They told me to obviously not get pregnant for the next 3 to 6 months. So again, I love the internet people that are curious, that are asking me when will a small baby come. But please do be patient with me. But I have to say, one of the symptoms that fibroids cause is obviously heavy bleeding in between periods, painful period. But another one is extended uterus. So sometimes people that have fibroids look like they're pregnant. I thankfully did not have that because my fibroids were quite low. But a lot of people have the pregnant belly looking thing, which is what sometimes prompts them to go get checked, and then they find out they have 7, 8, 10, 20, 30 fibroids in there, causing them to have an extended uterus. So I just want to say, be sensitive, especially if you see someone like me, for example, that's getting married online.
Be sensitive. Be sensitive to bad box. It's everything I'm teaching you, class. I'm arming you to not be. I'm telling you, I'm giving you the stories. I'm letting them tell it. But I'm telling it the truth. I'm somebody, I've been through everything, man, when it comes to the box. And what was one of the most important things that she said? Bleeding in between cycles. What does that mean, Prince? Yeah, You hit her and she bled on you, and everybody agreed, okay, you brought my period down. Right? Then a week or so went by, you got back to it, then she bled again. And she like, oh man, I didn't know my period was around. Okay, you let that go. And then she said, no, it's good. So you hit it again a week or two later. And what's the excuse now? Oh, you brought my period early. See, but that's the uneducated man, knowing that he shouldn't be bled on more than once. But you know how it is. We get a bitches a pass.
Sensitive to say, oh my God, I see a pregnancy belly, because you really don't know what women are going through. That could be fibroids. Someone like me, for example, that's getting married online, be sensitive to say, oh my God, I see a pregnancy belly, because you really do not know what women are going through. That could be fibroids.
Because you really don't know what the sisters are going through. Do they care what the brothers are going through? And that's the harsh way to say it. The nice way to say it is, why don't you tell the brothers what's really happening so we can know what you're going through? Oh, that's a private area? Oh, okay. It's the only area that you get to hustle us with, though, right? Oh, okay.
And I got a few comments about 6 months after my traditional wedding of people saying, oh my God, I see a bump. But meanwhile, I'm suffering with fibroid. So I was like, relax. Luckily for me, it was just a full belly. But I was like, imagine if that was the fibroids that you guys were showing. And the amount of comments that I got are like, oh, we're going to expect the baby soon. I see the baby. Just mind your business. So for me,
just mind your business when it comes to this box. Why, Prince? This box is 50-50. This box is 50-50 at best. Mind your business.
Like, oh, we're going to expect the baby soon. I see the baby. Just mind your business. So for me, I'm not going to even attempt trying for the next 6 months. So do not look at me.
I'm not going to attempt trying for the next 6 months because the doctor's orders. Who's suffering? Who's suffering the next 6 months? Who's suffering? Like I said, if you ain't getting this part of the game, because everything went well, the man was successful and he bagged him a good-looking black woman, tether or not. But why should that man still suffer after all of that? This is the conversation nobody's talking about. I'm the only one with it, son. Besides HD Live.
Until next year. Then maybe next year. But still, don't just mind your business. When I announce it, I announce it. But yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for the well wishes, for the flowers, for the love, for the prayers. I've seen all of that. And
for the love, for the prayers. Pray over each other's box. We ain't going to do it tonight, but a lot of times we say prayer hands in the chat because we know what it is, man. Over here, we stand on solid bullet points, solid gold. Everything we know to be the fact is the fact. No one can talk us off of it. We are well studied. We are well educated. We knew physical box, you know how to, play with it and do all this other stuff. But now we're really getting there. And we've come to realize, as the class realizes, that, hey, we're ahead of what's out there right now. As it drops out. No, we already, we have the whole leader. You understand? So we are the only ones that can say, man, you ain't shit. And if she want to have a conversation, I have armed my class with the education that could have the true conversation, whether she wants to be polite or not. They would everything that they say will be based in facts. How she ain't shit and that man is suffering, and how that man is suffering, and how we know you couldn't give a damn. But what's more important than that, Prince? She gets to determine when he gets to pound. Because everybody knows she had surgery on her box. You got to be easy.
Just let me be the spokesperson. If you think you have heavy bleeding, heavy periods, and you're not sure why, go and get checked. Fibroids is rampant to the community, and it's almost like a silent killer.
Fibroids is running rampant in the community, like crack cocaine, nigga.
So why? Go and get checked. Fibroids is rampant to the community and it's over.
Talk, sis. Why? Why should she talk, Prince? Because the brothers need to hear this. The sisters ain't gonna sit the brothers down and tell them until it's too late.
Check. Fibroids is rampant to the community and it's almost like a silent killer. Not that it kills, but it
Silent killer that black men don't know about. Not that it kills. What does it kill? Kills the man's hopes and dreams, kills the baby, kills the pussy. Everything the man is about. That's why she said it's not a killer, because she still get to fleece and play with a man thinking that she can have a healthy 100% motor skilled baby. Nobody is there to, no educated man is coming with the venom that we are coming with to say, nah, bitch, that's bullshit. No man should have to go through a 50-50 chance with all these millions of people on earth. Fuck out of here.
is a silent thing that a lot of women go through. When I shared my story on my Instagram, the amount of women that went to my DMs telling me that they had surgery recently, I must have had like, not even kidding, 100 women that told me they have
100 women tearing the black box up in the community. Who's the only one that don't know? Black man. Black man just as dumb as the sun is blue.
not even kidding, 100 women that told me they had surgery just this month. And then another like a few hundreds of people telling me they had surgery the last few weeks, the last few months, the last few years. So it is something that people go through. And a lot of people don't understand what fibroids are. And I think it's because we're all hush-hush.
That's the truth. Hey, where's the truth at, son? That's the truth. Huh? Only person that's not hush-hush is the prince. So the question to the class, easy, about the easiest question in the world. Why is it hush-hush from the sisters? Listen.
And I think it's because we're all hush-hush. And I think it's because we're all hush-hush. And I think it's because we're all hush-hush.
Why would all the sisters be hush-hush? Why? Class. The question is, why would all the sisters be hush-hush?
Understand what fibroids are, and I think it's because we're all hush-hush. Understand what fibroids are, and I think it's because we're all hush-hush. Understand what fibroids are, and I think it's because we're all hush-hush. I'm just here to bring awareness.
Why would the sisters be hush-hush away from the men? Why? You talk about everything else. You say you tell brothers how to be brothers, but you hush-hush about this. Why? HD Live, cook, baby, cook. Because they all fleecing. And if you have the advantage over somebody, why wouldn't you use it? Why wouldn't you use I mean, this advantage is serious. This is the secret. And it's such a secret that dummies who don't have real, thousands of sex hours can't identify. Dummies. Not on purpose. They made you believe that, yo, a woman got to be mentally stimulated to have sex. A woman is precious. She carries her box with a prestige and she cherishes what she ingests in her box, and she makes sure that she eats the best and never partake in high iodine seafood boils and contaminants and contraptions to disrupt anything of a wholesome and precious box. And brothers be like, okay. And brothers be like, yo, but she wanna fuck brother. Like, fuck who she wanna fuck Pookie or not. We're somewhere else with this. You're being fleeced. This is a newlywed and can't let her man pound her out for 6 months. Just got married July 6th. What about him? Is he happy? Yo, she'll heal up. She'll be all right. Do you want that for the brother? Do you want that for yourself? Yeah, but you know, sometimes you got to deal with it. Okay. Long as you and everybody can realize, okay, you got a raw deal, like most brothers, and you came to grips with it, and everybody, if they chose, could laugh at you. So you're not as sharp as you think you are, because even though you got married and everything, you still could leave.
If you feel like you have heavy periods, painful periods, periods are not meant to be heavy, they're not meant to be painful. And what does heavy mean? Heavy is relative. A lot of the times doctors will be like, oh, heavy periods are normal. No, heavy periods are not normal. If you feel like you have to constantly change your pads or your tampons because you are going to leak, that is a heavy period. If you are scared to sleep because you feel like you're going to leak the bed, that is a heavy period. If you have cramps, that is a painful period. It's not normal. Periods are not meant to be painful. They're not meant to give you cramps. They're meant to give you mild discomfort. But
Yeah, I want y'all to see this other thing real quick, man. This shit was funny. I saw this shit. Let me show y'all this shit, man. What white women think about black box. Yeah, this shit will make you laugh. I hope I'm at the right spot. This was crazy.
Well, no, it's just an incident.
My
This is not a baby.
stance.
Yeah, that would be at least the consistent stance.
Sure, that would be the consistent stance, but I just think there's more nuance to it.
Yeah. You,
Murdered at the 3-week, even if she were murdered before what?
Hold on.
do we have like the Jeopardy theme song? Staying inside the woman's belly a baby or not?
So
Yes,
even
it
if
is.
she were murdered before what I consider to be a life of a child, which is, I think legally it's like 6 weeks, you can have an abortion if
Yeah.
it's up to 6 weeks. So even if she were murdered at the 3-week mark, the 4-week mark, if her plan was to carry that child and bear that child, then I do think, yes, that's the reason it's double
That doesn't
homicide.
make any sense. Is that child, from your view, an actual baby or not?
No, not before 6 weeks.
Then why would it be murder?
Because the senseless action, if that didn't
Yeah,
happen,
she
it would.
got murdered.
Yes,
She
but if
got
that didn't
murdered.
happen, she would have had a baby.
Yeah, okay, so you're making a case against abortion. If she hadn't had an abortion, she also would have had a baby, right? So she's a murderer by your logic.
Okay. Like I
That's
don't
your
know that.
logic. Like that. So here's your logic. If it is the case that the woman intended to have the baby, she would have had the baby.
Should I have the opinion
Right.
that it shouldn't
But
be a
if it is
double?
the case that, hang on, but if it is the case that the woman aborts the child before it comes to term, then that's murder.
So-
And we know it's murder because if she's murdered with the baby in her womb, even if it's before when you consider it to be a baby, you consider that murder because the baby's not brought all the way to term. So no matter what, from your view, abortion would be murder.
So you think my stance should be that it shouldn't be considered a double homicide? That would be me aligning with my own stance.
Yeah, that would be at least the consistent stance.
Sure, that would be the consistent stance, but I just think there's more nuance to it. I think if it
What's the nuance? Like, how do you intend something to be alive or not? It either is alive and it is the thing, or it's not. You don't
Yeah,
like.
I think we just-
can't like. So like, could I be like, oh, you're not a baby?
Hold
so
on.
there- how?
I mean, that was cool, but I want to show y'all this other part.
that's a heavy debate. So I
Well, no, it's just an incident.
don't know until the 6-week mark, and then the
If I go murder,
situation that he agreed with as well. So I mean, you can
I
hold.
understand that you. I mean, if that's the case,
Well-
it
Yeah, I'm
Give me 1 second.
would have to be.
the child at that point has like more like autonomy and ability than previously before that makes it more lifelike. I don't know the science behind this. I'm not the one to argue this point.
Well,
I'm
there's no. These are not scientific claims. Like the moral implications of abortion, those aren't questions that science can answer. They could maybe give us an idea of when consciousness begins or when life begins or things like that, but science isn't in the business of giving us any type of ought claims. They're only interested in descriptors, really.
But no, that
This is
doesn't
how
change
thing
it.
works, right? Like science could tell us how a nuclear bomb works, but couldn't tell us when we're supposed to use one.
Welcome, Andrew.
Silence.
Welcome, stuff. Yo, Colleen, thank you. We're gonna
Hold on,
jazz.
man.
You
Y'all
had
gotta
some
see
notes that were
this shit.
directed.
Agreed, but I could look even
To get drunk is
geek out.
because when you were here last, you're like,
My fault.
yeah. you know them. Is you trying to compensate? You can, here we can take
My fault.
it. Same right there. I'm the
I
smartest.
want y'all to see how they think about these black boxes. Check this out.
There, that was good, because
For several years, they didn't.
sure I get a couple. Right?
American.
Because
How
they
does
got these time stamps. So if I
Oh,
Are
from
you
both,
asking
I
how this
guess.
would- yeah, how would this work from the Christian view? Is it only
Just Christian or whether it's
it's
what
in this segment.
that is
everything they hear. Don't give love.
a million times that
This is
yourself-
crazy, man.
Parents
You
are
need
being
to hear
loving
this
to
shit.
not most really.
So this other girl got to come back for sure.
Most
So if they don't
Divorce
come
generally-
back, then I got to rewind.
I'm
Okay,
actually good.
we're back.
In fact,
Well,
parents,
no, it depends on.
unless
I'm here.
like to know
And that, okay, before we get into that, I was
Uh,
states you raised in terms
I
of
might got to go back.
prospects, traditional gender roles.
Yes, men, and I do need a protector. Gender
I
liberation.
might have to go
on a
back.
great-
Sorry about that. I messed up.
This whole stay together, you know, for the kids thing. Kids are not stupid. Okay, that's the thing about parents and about.
That's a heavy debate. So
well, no, it's just an internal. In this case, it's just consistency.
well, it's heavily debated. At what point? Because a lot of women don't know until the 6-week mark, and then they don't have. That's a heavy debate.
Money.
At all.
Abortion can damage your body, and I have a friend who had done it, and now she can't have a baby at all.
How
So,
long
like-
did she wait to have the abortion?
I'm not sure, but she's
Okay.
had it like
Here we go. I think it's here. Thanks for holding out.
2 times, and she can never have a baby at all, and she wanted children. So what do you have to say about that?
I wonder what the statistics are on how often someone
Here we go.
becomes unable to bear children after an abortion.
I also wonder
if
what
it's
her
a
health
safe
was before.
abortion. If it's a safe abortion, usually there's no issue with
I
consuming
think.
pleasure.
I think.
I don't know the statistics though.
I
I
don't
do
know
think it's
either.
rare, but that is very sad.
Since I've had one, I will say I was very young.
Of course.
I was not in the position to. I made bad decisions.
Yeah, I think
Where?
it's here.
I made it.
Your
How
Are you
much
running?
of morality and religion should we consider
messed
when we
up.
create policy?
I think if we're not considering morality, then why? I
No,
mean,
we are. It's just to what extent do we think, oh, what if this child cured cancer? It's like that debate. Whereas we could realistically look at the position the woman is in now
fucked
and
up.
if it would benefit her life or if it would benefit the child's life. So it's just kind of this balance of morals and religion and literature and academia and just having these discussions. I think it's a balance. I don't think we should remove morality.
Mm-hmm.
I think there should just be a level of it to consider.
I guess
Can we
now,
have
now that I'm thinking about that, I guess I couldn't really pose that question because I have other views that potentially would go against morality.
Mhm,
So
exactly.
I'm considering
Especially when
that.
it comes to like
Morality
morality
legality
is
in the
so
court
subjective.
system.
It's
Well, more
so
so
damn
I'm thinking about
subjective.
crime and.
I don't think
consequence,
murder is
right?
subjective.
Well,
I think
that, I
that's
mean,
pretty
Well,
like.
we have a different opinion on if it's murder.
Okay, so why when a pregnant woman gets shot or killed, why is it a double homicide?
because it wasn't her choice.
That
Like,
literally
if
makes
she was,
no
if
sense.
she was trying
Right?
to carry the
That
child,
literally makes no
well, if
sense.
she wanted to carry that child to a human being, then
wait,
yes, it is
what?
double homicide.
That's a good question.
It's still
No,
it's but it's
because
still
it
like a
wasn't her
child.
Damn.
If she wanted to bear the child,
So what? So,
To a
like,
human.
If I think in my head about killing somebody, am I murdering them?
I fucked up.
no.
Okay, no, right? So if it's not a life by your standard, how could it be murder?
If she
regardless of
was
the
wanting to
intent-
carry
hang on. Regardless of the intention of the mom, how in the world could it be murder just based on her intention? That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. Can you explain that to me, please? Like, use really small words.
If she was trying to carry that child to birth
Yeah.
and that option was taken from her because she was murdered and therefore it killed the baby, then that's a double
That's not a
homicide.
baby, though,
sure.
by your standard, right?
I guess it depends when she was, but again, it's a
Damn, man. Yeah, I messed it all the way up, son. They were saying, yo, why do the black box be having abortion after abortion? Oh, man, y'all niggas hear that shit? You niggas will laugh your ass off. Yo, the shit was hilarious. Yo, they said, yo, oh, man, I don't know how I messed that up. How did I mess that up? Was it 220?
Example might be like there's a
and resources.
Lack of education. Everybody knows
Yes.
sex produces a
I think it's here.
child a worse life by killing it than bringing it into this world and figuring it out.
Most children that come out of that type of circumstance don't really have a great
I would
grand
love
life.
to see a statistic on that.
I don't have a
I-
statistic. I have friends that
you know-
come from that circumstance, and I feel like you have it. Like, where were you raised?
Why does that matter?
Because it does matter. You're a
no,
part-
no, 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 no. You're
social-
trying to be condescending. Because
Oh, it's not
I grew up-
condescending, baby.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, it is.
It's just straight up forward. Like,
do you know who gets the most abortions?
So what's your statistic? I'd love to hear.
Black women.
Yes,
and they get them.
Like,
Do you know who gets the most abortions?
So what's your statistic? I'd love to hear.
Black women.
Yes.
Straight up forward. Like,
Do you know who gets the most abortions?
So what's your statistic? I'd love to hear.
Black women.
Yes.
And they get them.
Like,
Do you know who gets the most abortions?
So what's your statistic? I'd love to hear.
Black women.
Yes.
And they get them.
Like,
Do you know who gets the most abortions?
So what's your statistic? I'd love to hear.
Black women.
Yes.
And they get them.
Like,
Do you know who gets the most abortions?
So what's your statistic? I'd love to hear.
Black women.
Yes.
And they get them over and over again as the most abortions.
So what's your statistic? I'd love to hear.
Black women.
Yes.
And they get them over and over again as
Yes,
birth
because
control.
of lack of education.
What's your statistic? I'd love to hear.
Black women.
Yes.
And they get them over and over again as
Yes,
birth
because
control.
of lack of education and resources.
Lack of education. Everybody knows.
Yes.
And they get them over and over again as
Yes,
birth
because
control.
of lack of education and resources.
Lack of education. Everybody knows
Yes.
sex produces a child. That is like I knew that.
You niggas heard that? You heard that? Did you hear that? That's the stereotype of the black box.
Trying to be condescending.
You have it. Statistic. I'd love to hear.
Black. Yeah,
It's just straight up forward. Like,
Do you know who gets the most abortions?
So what's your statistic? I'd love to hear.
Black women.
Yes.
And they get them over and over again as
Yes,
birth
because
control.
of lack of education and resources.
Lack of education. Everybody knows
Yes.
sex.
There you have it. You ready? All right, coming now.
Straight up forward. Like,
Do you know who gets the most abortions?
So what's your statistic? I'd love to hear.
Black women.
Yes.
And they get them over and over again as
Yes,
birth
because
control.
of lack of education and resources.
Lack of education. Everybody knows
Yes.
sex produces a child. That is like I knew that at 5 years old.
Yes.
If I have sex, I'm gonna
Hear.
Black women.
Yes.
And they get them over and over again as
Yes,
birth
because
control.
of lack of education.
Do you know who gets the most abortions? Black women, and they get them over and over like birth control. The other white woman said, yeah, because they stupid. Lack of education.
Condescending. Because
Oh, it's not
I grew up-
condescending, baby.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah,
it's,
it
it's
is.
just straight up forward. Like,
Do you know who gets the most abortions?
So what's your statistic? I'd love to hear.
Black women.
Yes.
And they get them over and over again as
Yes,
birth
because
control.
of lack of education and resources.
Lack of education. Everybody knows
Yes.
sex.
Wow. Sisters better get it together, B. Yeah, my gladiator came and said, my food is ready, B. You know? My gladiator, especially knowing that I'm live. My gladiator said, your food ready, pimp. Eat it while it's hot, not that box. My Lord. So maybe I'll come back later on, B.